Welcome to Strip Coverlet, where we squeeze the bigger picture out of literature. I'm Adrian Ford, and we are here for another poetry discussion. Another poetry discussion that comes to us from Emily Dickinson, and in as much it will appear in two separate playlists here on the channel. Number one, obviously, the poetry discussion playlist, which is now over 200 videos strong, as well as the Emily Dickinson playlist, which is now over 50 videos strong here on the channel. And what I'm going to be doing is we're going to be concentrating on a poem, but I want to use other poems from Emily Dickinson in order to really sort of hone in on what is being accomplished in the poem that we're talking about. Or if not maybe accomplished, what is being suffered by our speaker. And obviously, if we're doing poems from the same writer, there's going to be a little bit of um, there will be a little bit of biographical sort of stuff thrown in, but I don't know if it's necessary. I think that it is really a really interesting case study with the poems in question. But the poem that we're going to be actually talking about is I'm Nobody, Who Are You? And it reads as such. I'm nobody. Who are you? Are you nobody too? Then there's a pair of us. Don't tell. They'd advertise, you know. How dreary to be somebody. How public, like a frog. To tell one's name the livelong June to an admiring bog. Now, I'm nobody. Just that conceit, that core conceit of this poem. I'm nobody. Who are you? That is an interesting one. I'm nobody. Who are you? The ability to admit that somebody is no one. I'm nobody. I'm nobody. In fact, I'm happy to be nobody. How awful would it be to be a somebody? How awful would it be to be someone? When we take a look at a poem like Wild Nights here, wild nights, were I with thee, wild nights would be our luxury, futile, the winds to a heart in port, done with the compass, done with the chart, rowing in Eden, ah, the sea, might I but more tonight in thee. This is just about the exact opposite from the surface level. Then I'm nobody, who are you? But here's the thing with both of these poems. I'm nobody, who are you? This feels very lonely. Are you nobody too? Then there's a pair of us. Don't tell. Now we have community. We have community in nobodiness, but we're still nobody. We don't really sort of exist. And here, with this poem, wild nights, were I with thee. Wild nights should be our luxury. So we do have that inference, once again, of community. But we still have the pending loneliness. Were I with thee? I am not with you. Were I with thee? Wild nights should be our luxury. But I am not with you. So we have, oh wow, I went way too far back. We have, in both of these poems, a pervasive loneliness accompanied by some strange modicum of society, of um, social being. Now I want to talk about this poem too. I taste a liquor never brewed from tankards scooped in pearl. Not all the vats upon the Rhine yield such an alcohol. Inebriate am I, and debauchee of dew, reeling through endless summer days from ends of molten blue. When the landlord turned the drunken bee out of the foxglove's door, when butterflies renounce their drams, I shall but drink the more. till seraphs swing their snowy hats and saints to windows run to see the little tippler leaning against the sun. We're still talking. Where am I? We're still talking in the end about a liquor never brewed. I taste a liquor never brewed. There is a great without to all of these poems. There is a massive sense of longing to all of these poems. But nowhere in this canon, I believe, is this longingness better exemplified than in I'm Nobody, Who Are You? I'm nobody, who are you? Are you nobody too? Then there's a pair of us. Don't tell, they'd advertise, you know. How dreary to be somebody. How public, like a frog. To tell one's name the livelong June to an admiring bog. There is such a great sense of longing in this poem. But here, more than in the other poems, that sense of longing is mysterious. The sense of longing in this poem is not necessarily for the other, is not necessarily for that partner. In the poem, wild nights, were I with thee, wild nights should be our luxury, we're talking directly to another person. We're talking directly to another person as well, but we're talking to the other person that it is their company that would be the great thing. With I taste a liquor never brewed, it seems to be pervasive under the poem itself that there is another somebody whose love or essence or company is that brew, is the thing to be drank, is the inebriating, the toxic element. But in this poem, I'm nobody, who are you? That sense of longing seems to be strictly to nobodiness. That sense of longing seems to be holding on, grasping the anonymity from existence, the anonymity of being. Which, when you're talking about anonymity, is it really of being? Are we talking instead about anonymity derived, anonymity being the core of existence to this individual? Anonymity being that core of existence, it becomes an existence very unlike any that we really know or experience. It becomes the anonymity itself becomes something overpowering, becomes something definitional. Nobodiness being definitional to a body, to a someone, to a somebody, the very definition of somebody being nobodiness is a troubling conundrum. It is something that is not off-putting as much as it's one of these things that feels like a cold shower for the ego, right? You stepped into a cold shower and your breathing changes very fast. You lose your breath. This opening line, I'm nobody, who are you? That, to the ego, to the way that we experience the world, should be like a cold shower. It should feel that way because that is what it is. This is coming from a speaker whose reality is debased from anything you or I know about living, about experiencing the world. I'm nobody. Who are you? Let's enjoy this nobodiness together. That's all I have for this poetry discussion. If you enjoy what I do here, hitting that like button helps me out immensely on this channel. It tells YouTube to share this video with other literature lovers. And if you find yourself here by chance but not design, literature is the only thing that I talk about on this channel, dropping multiple videos per week. And there is poetry on the channel every Monday. Also, there are novel read-alongs. Right now, I'm going through No Longer Human, something that coincides strangely with this poem. So if you are a fan of novels and things like that, join me for those as well. And I hope to have you back for the next one.